In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add a small inline image into the text area and to wrap the text around that image. So the first step is to position the cursor where you want to add the image and go ahead to the Insert menu or the Insert panel, open that up with the HTML objects selected here or open. We're going to go to Image, choose Image. I'm going to navigate to the desktop, find the image. So here is my small red dog GIF image I'm going to use. Notice it's only 48 by 48 pixels, which is great for this example. Click Open. Dreamweaver warns me that the file is outside of my root folder. Do I want to move it there? Yes, I do, in order that it works when I upload it. So I'm going to click Yes. It brings up the browser to have me locate where I want to store it, and I'm going to store it in the Images folder, which is where I'm putting all of my images, and click Save. So it's now in my root folder in the Images folder. And here it is, but you can see it's positioned to the left, and I want it to actually be positioned on the right of this text block, and I also want the text to be wrapped around it. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to show you for the first time in this course, is how to create a class rule. A class rule is a CSS rule that we can apply to any object on our site. To demonstrate how class rules work, we're going to once again open up the CSS Designer panel, and we're going to click on the plus symbol to add a new rule, and you can see it's coming up with a rule for image, but I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to start this rule with a period, and the period denotes in the CSS that this is going to be a class rule, and you'll see what that means here in a minute. And I'm just going to give it something that signifies it's for images that I want to float right. So I just typed in .img underscore right over my rule. You can make these names whatever makes sense to you. Hit return. So here is my list of properties, and the first thing I'm going to do is to set some margin around my images so that the text doesn't come right up to the side of the image. And to set the margin around the image, I'm going to go to first just the top area here. So the top margin for my image, I'm going to set it just to 3 pixels, just to push the text back a little bit. But I want 3 pixels all around the image. So I click on the little all icon here, and that sets my margin to 3 pixels all the way around on all sides. And then the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down a bit here, and there's a property called float underneath the position area, and you can see you've got left float or right float, and I'm going to select right for the float. And that's all I'm going to do for the moment. There are other properties you can set for the color of the margins that you want. You can add lines around it and so on and so forth. But I'm just going to leave it with these properties. I'm going to close this. And now my image is selected, and with the image selected, if you go down to the Property Inspector now and look down in the Property Inspector, there's a pop-up menu called Class. And this gives me access to all of my class rules to apply to any object that's selected. So if I click on that now, you can see here is the image right class rule, and I simply select that, and voila, my image floats right. It has text wrapped around it, and you can see I can even move it up here a little bit into the text, and the text continues to wrap around it. So that is how to add an inline image and a class rule. As you start building your site in the real world, you'll have many class rules here that you can apply to various objects and elements in your web page and the entire site.